now menopause saying, so what are you going to do? What if you really are having menopausal symptoms? Maybe you're having some hot flashes. Maybe you're having some mood swings, or maybe, your equipment's not working so well. What can you do besides submit to these hormones? Well, it turns out that there's two organs in your body that make testosterone. One is your testicles. That's obvious. But the other organ is not so obvious, and that's your liver. So what happens is your testicles do whatever they're going to do, and that's that. But the liver makes up the difference. It's the liver that keeps you having those erections the rest of your life and really keeps things very exciting and high quality and keeps you, having an even disposition and not having hot flashes. So what should you do? You should clean that liver out. You should definitely clean out the liver. Cleaning out the liver is actually easier than people think. The first step in cleaning your liver is drinking more water. And, I say don't overlook the obvious. We have a question here, so let's see. The person has a question. I'm going to click this button here. Oh, my God, it's twirling.
Hello?
So 1722, you're on the air.
Yes, Dr. Daniels, my question concerns your, the findings of the study that cites prostate cancer as a marker for longevity and being
That's
like
my
80.
Conclusion. That's
Pardon?
my conclusion, because the studies show that the people live longer, but my conclusion is it's a marker for longevity. So I just want to say I drew that conclusion from the study myself.
Okay, so is this still true if, in fact, a person has been diagnosed with prostate cancer and has succumbed to the biopsy, and now there's a likelihood that the cancer has metastasized outside of the gland? You still have the same opinion?
Prostate cancer can metastasize outside the gland, even without medical intervention, but it does take, as you say, a lot longer. There really hasn't been a lot of study on that. However, basically, the studies on prostate cancer in terms of therapeutic intervention, if you do absolutely everything your doctor recommends, you're going to, on average, live 6 weeks longer than had you not done what he asked.
Right. Okay.
And if you submit to the next step, which is maybe chemotherapy or something, you're going to have.
Say all of the medical suggestions for treatment are being ruled out, and person has had this biopsy, and there's some likelihood that by penetrating the bowel wall, the rectal wall, and the gland itself, that the prostate, the cancerous cells may have leached into his lymph nodes or wherever. So at that point, does the person still feel? Do you feel as though the patient would still have this longevity going on without doing any of the things that the doctor suggests for them to do?
This is my personal opinion. And again, this is from reading the literature, is the individual, should he decide to stop right there, it's like a game of 21, right? If they hit you and you're busted, then that's it, you're done. If that person should decide to stop wherever he is, he would be better off, and I'll tell you why. The studies have shown us increased mortality just from the biopsies themselves.
Right, that's what I was getting at.
Prostate biopsies are deadly, and so even if the person has a prostate biopsy, the question is, should they continue and either get further biopsies or further manipulations? And what the studies are showing is there's actually a mortality associated with these interventions. So based on that, I would say, you're at whatever point you stop, you're better off.
Okay. And now you're starting to get into what natural treatments are better served with this condition?
Yeah, what you can do naturally. There's a lot you can do naturally.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
I will hang up and listen to the rest of the program then. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here. Okay, great. All right, so first thing is the key here is the liver, and that's because this illness is cleared by the liver, and the function of and the liver actually picks up the function of the prostate gland. So the first thing you do is you drink more water. What kind of water do you drink? This is controversial, but I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is either distilled water, reverse osmosis water, or Berkeley filtered water. Either of those three will do just fine. So now you got your water going on. Next thing you need to do for your liver is you can take milk thistle. That's my favorite thing because it's a passive protector of the liver. What does it do? It just covers the leak and coats all the liver cells so they can suck up all the bad guys, which would be the bacteria, the cancer cells, the chemicals. It puts them into the biliary tract and into the intestines where you can put them out into the toilet, which is the next thing you need to do, which is poop regularly. That will be 3 or more times a day. Because especially when you have cancer, you have to empty your intestines at a faster rate. And that's because the reason you have cancer is because you have a backup. So you got behind. So people who have cancer generally tend to poop twice a day, once a day, or even, heaven forbid, skip days. So you have to poop. Okay, so now you've increased your water intake. So now you have better circulation. The chemicals and stuff can be brought to the liver for disposal. You're pooping more. So the output from the liver, when it hits the intestines, is going to make it to the toilet. It's not going to end up in the intestines and get stuck there. So you've got all this stuff going, and everything's circulating very nicely. The next thing you do is you need to take a look at your hormones. Where are you getting hormones? You need to shut off every single source of hormones. And for men, most men eat a lot of meat. And now, I'm not going to tell you to go vegan, but I will tell you this. Do not eat any animal whose natural size is bigger than what you want to weigh. So if you're a 200-pound man, you want to eat animals whose adult size is less than 200 pounds. So you pick your number, and that's going to determine what you eat. Okay, so now you know what animal you can eat. The next issue is you have to eat animals that have not been fed artificial hormones. Now, when I first got into all this natural stuff, I was not very sophisticated. And so, of course, I thought, that animals were injected with hormones, which is true. They were injected with hormones. But now they're putting the hormone in the commercial animal feed. And many people who are raising animals and who are buying animal feed don't know that hormones are in the animal feed. For example, if you raise chickens and you buy chicken feed, there's something called egg-laying feed. And, of course, the egg-laying feed has hormones in it to help the animal lay eggs. And this is something that, your regular naive individual who didn't grow up to be a farmer wouldn't really pick up on that. You would say, oh, this just gives the chicken more nutrition and maybe way more eggs or better eggs. Not so. Now, the other thing that goes on with meats is that antibiotics are in the meats. And what was mentioned in the research studies I reviewed is that when men get these biopsies, the needle tracks bacteria from the intestines into the prostate, and that's what kills these guys. So what's that got to do with it? Well, if you're taking antibiotics, the antibiotics are increasing the amount of resistant bacteria in your intestine. These resistant bacteria in your intestine are harmless. They can't do any harm to you at all in your intestine. But when the doctor introduces that needle through your intestinal wall into your prostate, all of a sudden, this deadly bacteria that was in a harmless location ends up being transported to a lethal location. And so what you need to do to protect yourself is decrease your population of deadly bacteria. Now, you might say, oh, my God, Dr. Daniels, I've been eating antibiotics all my life in these meats. What if I already had deadly bacteria? Not to fear. Research has been done that will help you, too. If you stop eating antibiotics for 30 days, 1/3 of all the people who do that will no longer have deadly bacteria. The deadly bacteria will literally, on their own, convert to non-deadly bacteria. And that is very good news. So the sources of antibiotics are, believe it or not, drinking water, tap water, so don't drink tap water. Eat filtered water, one of the three that I mentioned. Meats, pretty much all commercial meats, so you need to really inquire, does this meat have hormones? Does this meat have antibiotics? If both answers are no, then that's the meat for you to eat. Okay, so we got rid of that hormone source. The other hormone source is plastics, believe it or not. In our house, we have switched out all of our plastics to glass. And at first, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, that's difficult. But, there was a time people lived really well without plastics. So I'll be very honest with you. First, we took all the plastic containers we were using for leftovers and we converted to glass. And I did have to share this with you because certain glass containers will explode spontaneously. So I was sitting in the living room and I heard this explosion in the kitchen. I'm like, well, nobody is in the kitchen. So I go to the kitchen and there are these bits of glass everywhere. This glass container exploded. So you have to check when you buy these glass containers and ask, is this the one that explodes? This is actually a known safety hazard. Apparently, if you Google on the internet exploding glass, they'll even show you the brands that explode. So all of those exploded on us, and so we went and got another set, and these don't explode. These are not exploding. So we do use plastic tops on them, but the plastic tops don't touch the food. So do replace your glass. We replaced that glass, and that's done very well. Then we replaced all of our drinking glasses. Unfortunately, the drinking glasses, they do drop, and, we buy about 6 new drinking glasses every 6 months or so. So switching to glass is going to create some lifestyle situations, but a broom and a dustpan, a little bit of broken glass is no big deal. It could save your life. So that's our drinking plastic, and then we bought glass bowls. So now our plastic bowls are switched out, and we have glass bowls instead of plastic. And it really hasn't been as traumatic as we thought it would be. So I would really encourage any of you men who are listening, or any of you women who are listening, to change out all of your plastic you might have in the house. That is a huge, huge, huge source. Oh, by the way, drinking bottles. Those of you who exercise, drinking bottles. We now use stainless steel water bottles. We don't use any of the plastic because they have the low BPA, whatever, low chemical plastics that don't leach. And you know how that works. They'll say this plastic is okay, and then 2 years later you find out, well, it really wasn't okay. So I would say, for your drinking, your sports bottles, definitely go to metal. Yes, our sports bottle has some dings in it, and we just live with that. My husband's a perfectionist, and he says, oh, my God, honey, there's a ding in your water bottle. I said, yes, dear, it's okay. We're going to survive this. So it's no big deal. Just really switch out the plastic is not as difficult as you think. Even if you have children at home, feeding your little boys out of plastic containers, that means they're going to get prostate cancer earlier in life and be subjected to a lot of sexual manipulation and all kinds of issues. So it's better just to not get started. So you're switching out your plastics as a source of hormones, and then medication. Those are the biggest source of hormones. So if you have a prostate issue, get rid of those things. All right. Now the next priority, if you've done all that, is you want to go back and do some more work on your liver. And to do more work on your liver, you want to take your B-complex 50 vitamins, because that's what liver loves. The liver loves B vitamins. If you don't have enough B vitamins in your diet, then what's going to happen is your liver, your heart, and your brain are going to play this game of musical chairs. And if there's not enough B vitamins to go around, either the brain's going to not get enough, you're going to stroke, or the heart's not going to get enough, you're going to get a heart attack. So the liver is never the one that goes without the B vitamins. It always lets the other two go without B vitamins. So take your B-complex 52 a day. What that's going to do is it's going to help your liver work at a higher level to help clear your system of the cancer, and you're going to do a lot better. And then you need to get omega-3 fats. Now, if I owned a drug company, or a pharmaceutical company or a vitamin company, I would tell you, get this brand, get that brand, buy this, whatever. But the real deal is good old flax seeds, quarter cup a day. That's really, that will do it for you. And what that's going to do is, if you have prostate cancer, one reason that you have it is because you don't have enough omega-3s. And so what's going to happen when you get enough omega-3s is your body is going to take all the synthetic or defective spare parts it's been using to make cell membranes. It's going to throw them away and use these new, good, healthy fats to replace those membranes, give you some nice, new, healthy membranes, and actually improve your sexual function even. So it's really a worthwhile thing to do. So how do you take flaxseed? You have to take a quarter cup, that's your minimum effective dose, add a cup of water to it, let it soak overnight, give it a stir in the morning, and down the hatch. It doesn't taste great, doesn't taste awful. It's really pretty bland. And no, you do not need to chew the seeds, because when you let them soak, the omega-3s come out of the seeds into the solution, and they're very easy to absorb for your intestines. And this also helps with your physical strength as well. So those are your basics for naturally, and I do mean naturally, dealing with prostate cancer. I have to say, foods. You got to get rid of the processed foods. And for most men, that means eating at home. If your wife cooks it, that's what you eat. And for your wife, that means not using packaged foods of any kind. So you're going to be using whole grains. You're going to be using meats without hormones or antibiotics. You're going to be using organic vegetables, organic fruits, organic spices, and any combination of that you like. The other source of hormones I didn't mention was dairy products. That would be milk. But that is handled because obviously cows are bigger than people, and so you wouldn't want to eat milk because it comes from the animal bigger than your maximum human male weight, which is between 200 and 300 pounds. I'll be generous about that. So those are the basics, and those really help a lot. And if you have any issues about that, check out my recipe books, Healing Recipes, at vitalitycapsules.com. And there's lots of recipes in there that are prostate-friendly, don't have any dairy, special ways to make creamy sauces without any dairy products or any tofu or soy. By the way, soy is very bad. It's high in estrogen, so you don't want to eat that either. But you don't want to eat any processed food, even if it's from the health food store, even if it says organic. You have to just don't fall for the hype. But that's Dr. Jennifer Daniels. I'm sorry, it's vitalitycapsules.com, and it's the Dr. Daniels Healing Recipes, and you click on the lower right corner down there. But the cure for prostate cancer really is a food cure, clean out the colon cure, and help the liver cure. And that's really what it takes. This is not a drug thing. Now, there are herbs that can help. My favorite herb is small willow flower. It's absolutely phenomenal. Guys love it. It keeps them from getting up so much at night to pee. It's great for their sex life. It just really helps them out quite a bit. So small willow flower herb, and you can Google that on the internet. It's actually only sold by one or two different places. And I recommend that you get the actual flower itself and even make a tea and just drink the tea. And that's actually pretty easy to do. And most teas, contrary to what anyone might tell you, you can brew a tea and sip on it for 2 or 3 days. So if you're not into brewing tea every day, you can just brew a quart or two once or twice a week.